Yo, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Again, we are just trying to figure out what we're trying to do. So basically, we have a merch section, and on the merch section, we can add a video. And I want to use this time to talk about my favorite artist, Lee Scratch Perry. I went to engineer. How old was I? This had to be around 93, probably 95, 96. I wanted to get into music. I was doing music promotions. I left that, DJing, and I just wanted to start to create music. So I used to apply to a magazine called Mix or Recording or Sound Something. I don't know what it was. And I was flipping through it, and there was an article about reggae music. And obviously, because I'm Jamaican, I'm like, yo, let me read this. So I started to read it, and it was talking about this producer called Lee Scratch Perry. And what I was reading, I didn't know that I actually heard his music and I had his records in my collection. So as I'm reading this, I'm like, oh, wow. So then I dig in the crates and I find some dub music from Lee Scratch Perry and I put it on the turntable and I'm playing it. And I turned it down low and I'm reading this article about Lee Scratch Perry. And what stuck with me was, I guess Chris Blackwell wanted Bob Marley to record the album in England. And Bob Marley insisted that that record be recorded in Jamaica with Lee Scratch Perry. And Chris Blackwell was totally against it. But Bob Marley was like, yo, I gotta record with him or I'm not doing the record. Not doing the album, not doing the record, not doing the single, not doing nothing. Okay, so Chris Blackwell cave in and allow Bob to go to Jamaica and record this album. Man, I'm about to sneeze. True word. Rest in peace, Lee Scratch, baby. So when Chris Blackwell went to the studio, he saw Bob, Wailers, and there was Lee Scratch Perry at the board. I think he had a Soundcraft board, 4-track analog recording. As we all know, the Beatles are famous for recording on a 4-track. And what they did was you just bounced, right? So you record your drums, you bounce it to one track. You record your guitar, you bounce it to another track. You record your bass, you bounce it, you bounce it, you bounce it to eventually you got all your production on stereo track, and then you can use the 4-3 remaining tracks for your vocals. So the Beatles Beatles made the 4-track recording famous. But Lee Scratch Perry took that shit to the next level. So they're in this little ragtag studio in Jamaica, and Lee Scratch Perry's there, and Chris Blackwell's like, yo, there's no way this shit's gonna fucking happen. And I hope I'm telling the story truthfully, because this is all coming off memory back in 96, 95, what I read. Lee Scratch Perry gets up before the session starts and takes white rum and starts splashing the white rum all over the studio. And the English are like, what the fuck is happening? And he's splashing white rum all over the place. Probably John Crobati. That's basically overproof white rum. John Crow Bati, which is John the Crow, so a crow's ass. John Crow Bati. That's That's the patois translated into English. So he's probably drinking that, and we all know that's made from the sugar cane. Wray and Nephews, guaranteed full strength. So everybody's like appalled, like, yo, this dude is crazy. After he splashed the white rum, he sat at the board and created a sound that has never been created before, and a sound that defines reggae music. And I remember at the end of the article, Lee Scratch Perry said, I invented reggae and gave it to Bob Marley. This may sound biased, but dub, when we talk about dub, right? And you got to do some research about dub version. When you say version on the B side of a record, you would so like on a 45 or a single on a 12-inch, you would have the song, and then on the flip side of the record, you would have the instrumental, right? Hip hop guys call it instrumentals. Us Jamaicans, we call it dub or version. With the echo and all of that, with the voice echoing off. Lee Scratch Perry is the grandfather of that. What we know today as dub, house music, trance, that's Lee Scratch Perry. EDM, that's Lee Scratch Perry. That's Herbie Hancock. EDM is electronic dance music. And these motherfuckers from Europe stole our shit, and now it's Swedish House Mafia, etc., etc., etc. I just want you guys to know a little bit of the history. I don't want to talk too long on this, but I just want you guys to know the history. Okay. So 95, 96, 95, 96, 98, 99, boom, boom, boom. 1998, I decided to become a photographer. A videographer. I was the first person to put videos on the web from reggae concerts. It was me and dancehallreggae.com. In 1999, you could have came onto bobbyshakes.com and watched reggae video of concerts happening in New York, Boston, and Jamaica on our website. So when we talk about YouTube, when we talk about WorldStar, I'm the grandfather of that shit. I invented the internet. But we're not here to talk about me. I just want y'all motherfuckers to know the history of what we see today. The fisheye lens. I was the first dude in the world to shoot concerts with the fisheye lens. Now I see all you motherfuckers shooting the fisheye lens. You even know where the fuck that came from. And where does this fisheye lens come from? This fisheye lens come from skateboarding videos, because I'm originally a skateboarder and a snowboard videographer. That's my roots. So that's why I picked the fisheye lens. So I'm just giving you a brief history about Bobby Shakes. So as my career went, I shot every single hip hop. I was there for Hard Knock Life. I was there for Jay-Z at the inception, or for Source Magazine. Hard Knock Life. We broke that record. Ja Rule, DMX, Def Jams 2000. We broke that. That's factual. Work for the Source Magazine. That's the hip hop Bible. So I was working at the Source Sound Labs, which was the biggest recording studio in probably New England. Big people coming through. Master P people came through. Lil Wayne people, Cash Money came through. Def Jams came through. I engineered a couple of stuff for Def Jams. And while I was engineering, it was like I was being my idol. I was being Lee Scratch Perry for Def Jams and Interscope and all the other big labels I was assistant engineer on. I worked with Kenny Ortiz and Mario. Kenny Ortiz at the time got a Grammy for, I think, Lauryn Hill's live record. Mario did everything that got y'all motherfuckers in trouble. Mobb Deep, Biggie, anything from New York, Mario was the engineer on it. So those are the guys I work with. And it was great to be in that pocket, to go from my little 4-track studio to a 2-inch studio, SSL board, and then I eventually left that and got into photography. And this is when we started BobbyShakes.com and the video and all of that shit. My photography comes from my mom, who used to take pictures. We used to go on vacation in Jamaica. So I used to go out, record concerts on a point and shoot. Eventually, I met Ishala, who told me about the DSLR, and we went from point and shoot to the Nikon 770, I don't know, some cheap Nikon, 6 megapixel Nikon. So that was my transition from music to photography. Once I transitioned from music to photography, I shot every single artist, every reggae artist, every hip hop artist, Mobb Deep, Clinton Sparks, Wu-Tang, Jay-Z, DMX, everybody. As I got older, and this was probably about maybe 5-6 years ago. I mean, time's flying. Maybe like 7 years ago, maybe 6, 7, 8 years ago. My friend told me that Lee Scratch Perry's coming to Boston. Now, I have a to-do list. I have a bucket list, right? I have to shoot Yellow Man. I missed to shoot the woman. I forgot her name. Oh, my God. I'm supposed to know this. Wata Bam Bam. I should have shot her a couple months ago. I didn't. So I have to get Yellow Man. I have to get her. I missed Dennis Brown. He died in Brazil, I think. Yeah, I think Dennis Brown died in Brazil. I missed that show. I was booked to shoot Dennis Brown and he died. So my collection of artists is dwindling because now I'm 49. All my idols are old, right? Toots and the Maytals shot him. Or shot them. It's Toots and the Maytals shot them. So as my career starts to wind down, I'm like, yo, there's certain artists I got to shoot. And there he was. Dropped into my lap. Lee Scratch Perry at the Middle East. And I shot that concert. And it took almost 20 years, maybe 25 years from reading that article in 95, 96 to shooting them a couple of years ago. But I was on this path to shoot Lee Scratch Perry. And I finally did. And he died recently. And I don't have the shirt on. But this is my bootleg Lee Scratch Perry shirt. And this is just my story behind the images that you see on this shirt. Lee Scratch, you're gone from us, but you're legendary. You're iconic in reggae. There is no Bob Marley without Lee Scratch Perry. Not too many people have the balls to say it, but I'll fucking say it. There is no Bob Marley. There is no reggae. There is no Jamaica without Lee Scratch Perry. And I want to present to you my images of the God. Also want to pay homage to my boy Pilot, died recently.
Cool now. I want me girl them there. Original pilot, aka Ross Mulligeta Sewa. Adiva! Hot girl diva, a diva. Some girl a skittle tough like a cleaver. No man no want them, tell them to leave ya. A diva! Run boy, hot girl diva, a diva. Some girl a skittle tough like a cleaver. No man no want them, tell them to leave ya. A diva! Run boy, diva, a diamond, hot girl them a goal. Always feel like them in control. Any man we tackle them, end up in a them hole. That's simple mean them story and skittle them a brass, tell them kiss me round. Run a my place, none of them can pass. In a girl business, a them come last. Pilot! You are the boss. Hot girl diva, a diva. Some girl a skittle tough like a cleaver. No man no want them, tell them to leave ya. A diva! Run boy, hot girl diva, a diva. Some girl a skittle tough like a cleaver. No man no want them, tell them to leave ya. A diva! Run boy, diva own them house, hot girl pay them rent. Skittle! They rob a red sin. They ain't up homeless, thief clothes over fence. Sell out them soul just to drive in a bed. Diva girl no in a shop and them pay with cars. Diva girl in a A1 class. Diva girl and you know them a the boss. When hot girl see them a fi run past. Hot girl diva, a diva. Some girl a skittle tough like a cleaver. No man no want them, tell them to leave ya. A diva! Run boy, hot girl diva, a diva. Some girl a skittle tough like a cleaver. No man no want them, tell them believe ya. A diva! Run boy, diva, a diamond, hot girl them a goal. Always feel like them in control. Any man we tackle them, end up in a them hole. That simple mean them story and skittle them a brass, tell them kiss me round. Run a my place, none of them can pass. In a girl business, a them come last. Pilot! You are the boss. Hot girl diva, a diva. Some girl a skittle tough like a cleaver. No man no want them, tell them to leave ya. A diva! Run boy, hot girl diva, a diva. Some girl a skittle tough like a cleaver. No man no want them, tell them to leave ya. A diva! Run boy.
Yo. I'm gonna make a promise. I'm gonna make a promise. I have 25 years of reggae history that you haven't seen. And this is what Chase is Live is all about. I'm going to preserve our culture. And I'm not going to sell it out. And that's a fucking fact.